Don't ever let the emotional blackmailers get away with this. They're saying now that Brexit, all the supermarkets will be empty, there'll be martial law, there'll be no water, there'll be no Viagra, there'll be none of this, there'll be none of that, there'll be no chocolate, that was another one. People won't smile, that's another one. There won't be this, there won't be that. Don't let them get away with it. Because this emotional blackmail, this terrorising the public on behalf of the mainstream media is just unacceptable. Don't let them get away with it. Don't watch their programmes. Don't go to their shops. Boycott whatever you need to. What the hell are we supposed to do to get our world back? To get a world that functions? I want a world just for once that functions, where education improves minds rather than just destroys them. Where healthcare actually improves health rather than destroys it. But we're not allowed to move into that world, because for that world, everything must function. Everyone would be healthy. Everyone would be happy. And we can't have that because there's less control of the population that way. We've been bullied, basically, so we can be easily coerced and controlled and manipulated and steered into the ghettos that they want us to be in. And when we're in those ghettos, we can be censored, we can be silenced, we can be divided, etc., etc. Freedom. So we have a choice. We either have martial law or Sharia law. Personally, I want common law. I don't want any of the martial law or Sharia law options. They're both as bad to freedom as each other. And the right might like the idea of a police state and, our troops walking around. Well, they're not going to be our troops. They're going to be foreign troops that are quite happily going to shoot us, like the things happening in France right now with the Gilets Jaunes protests. Tell me, right-wingers, will you still be patriotic when there are foreign troops shooting you in your own country under martial law? Is that freedom, is it? But the antithesis to that, and what the left and progressives seem to want, is Sharia law, because that's so wonderfully progressive, isn't it? Because Saudi Arabia are our friends suddenly, and Owen Jones never says anything about it now, even though they own the whole media, they own the Independent, they're expanding, and they're allowed to do whatever they want, even though they cut gay people's hands off and stone women to death. So our newsreaders that we watch when we watch the news, we watch the BBC, they work for people who cut gay people's hands off and stone women to death. Right? There's no freedom coming in the way of Sharia law. There's no freedom coming from funding from Saudi Arabia. And there's no freedom coming from martial law or the police state. The only freedom is if we evade all this stuff and actually have some common sense. But since common sense has been classified as hate speech, I doubt that's going to happen now. I think we've gone too far already. We've sunk. Because hate speech doesn't really exist as a thing. It's non-quantifiable. They can't define the parameters. But because people say it does exist, because things are hateful, things are hate speech, then people have, invented their own doom, basically. They've invented their own censorship, and they don't have free speech because they've allowed it to happen, and they've said hate speech is a real thing when it's not. Hate crimes are a real thing. You can hate people, there are plenty of people that hate people because they're gay, or because they're black, or midgets, or ugly, or whatever other reason. It doesn't matter. If you commit a crime on someone and injure them and wound them, then you've committed a hate crime. That is a crime. If you've said something and wounded someone emotionally, it's not a crime. It's not a hate crime. It doesn't exist. You cannot specify the parameters of something that you can't quantify, which you can't, but they can arrest you for it. And they can arrest you for arbitrary transgressions, whatever they are, if it's misgendering or dead naming or, referring to Bradley Manning as a man, which he was before he was Chelsea Manning. Well, that's obviously hate speech now under the rules of Twitter and under the rules of all social media, etc. So we've got no freedom left. They're now openly saying they're going to remove conspiracy videos, removing conspiracy theory videos, etc. Well, the conspiracy's true. Too many people are aware of it now. That's why they have to be removed. And they're openly announcing they're going to be jailing anti-vaxxers and critics of BuzzFeed. They're being criticised and attacked while BuzzFeed gets $300 million a year from the government, etc. We're in a fake world. Snopes is fake. BuzzFeed is fake. NewsGuard is fake. Everything's fake that they say is real. Everything that is real, they say is fake. It's a backwards world. We're not allowed to move into one that functions, because then it wouldn't be backwards. It's broken, and it's not getting fixed anytime soon.